Well, we were out of position. That's why that happened. We made a substitution and put Jared in the game, and he was our only big guy, and we didn't make the rotations to tell him he's in the back as opposed to being what he normally is in the front, and he ran immediately to his position, and they were hollering, they were trying to tell him, but it just those things happen sometimes.
Did you go to the press a little bit too late, or
No,
do you wish that you would went to it earlier?
No, I mean, we had legs in the second half to really go after them. And understand, in the first half, it was, they had a little lead, but a lot of the lead was because of us, not because of them. I mean, they had shots that we shouldn't have gave them, like even the last shot right before the half. All we do is stay in front of it. It's a 10-point halftime lead as opposed to 13, and those things that we just got to get better at. But, I was very proud of our young men. They played hard, played extremely hard, and they didn't quit. And that's one of the things we talked about at halftime. We were not going to quit. We're coming back after this team. And, when you hit a couple of shots, you got a chance of being in the game in my estimation.
How much did the zone save you in the first half? Looked like that really worked.
Well, it really helped us. That really helped us. It may not have looked it, but, think about it. Aaron probably would have fouled out a lot sooner if we didn't have a zone out there. And that gave him some room out there, and I thought we did a good job with it at times. Where we got hurt at is they would overload the side and bring the big guy underneath, and our opposite wing was supposed to go with him, something we worked on in practice, but we just didn't do it right in the game.
So did you want to take the last shot, or was that designer during hit that last shot?
That was what Jeremy did, was do a back pick for the big guy to get him to have them bite on that, and Norris was supposed to hit Jeremy back. Now the play was a 3 because we're going for the win. And I told Jeremy, if the guy runs at you, pump fake him and drive to the basket. He did a great job. And the kids really commended him in the locker room coming back, not for hitting the shot, because he listened. As they really was committed. Hey man, you submitted out there, Jeremy, and that was a good thing.
Kerry, other than Bryant, they really don't have many ball handlers. Do you have a feeling that they were going to struggle against your press?
Well, actually they do, because 2 of the kids I recruited, I know them very well. Butler and Wellington, when I was at New Jersey and Rutgers, so I knew those kids very well. And Ebanks I knew well too, because I was recruiting them when I was leaving. And these kids they're big, but the perimeter kind of big guys. That's why it's hard to really play them. The press we just got under them, and they didn't expect us to get that far under them. I would think they would pass over the top of us a little bit more, but they kept trying to dribble through it, and I thought we did a good job.
I don't want to get over the technical here. Is there a name for the press that we're using primarily out there?
Well, we just use numbers. I don't let the world know my numbers.
Well, not is it zone, just.
What we were using against them then was a zone press, but we can also do it man to man, and we can do it 3/4. Now, understand what you've seen out there is something we work on every day. We just there's other processes we have to put in before we get into that, and that means we can do all this pressing we want, but if they break it and get it half court and they can score a layup or a basket, what is our defense like? And that's what we've been working on in this preseason to get our defense better.
As good as West Virginia is, are you surprised that your zone press worked as well as it did, or is that as well as you expected it to work if the kids execute?
Well, you never know, because teams are they're a very good team. And Huggins does a fabulous job with them. And I'll be honest with you, I think they're a Final Four team. See, every Final Four team does not go through a situation where they just blow out everybody. They have to play in difficult games and learn how to play through those things. Hit big shots, hit big free throws, and now when they get to those difficult games, they're capable of doing that. And I think this is one of those tests for Huggins' group that they had to get through, and they got through it. The positive thing is Huggins and one of his other coaches really commended our guys, not on the play, that on how hard we played, and that if we continue to play like that, we will be okay in our own league.
Brown played really good. Don't show up on the points, but he hustled, got some steals, got back on defense. That's what you preach.
Yeah, he's fabulous at that. you know, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but, you know, we don't stay in games. We don't play as well as we play in games without him.
Coach, anybody knows you knows the first number you look at in the box score is the opponent's shooting percentage.
It's killing me.
Once again, they
I mean, hey, let me tell you something. I have nightmares. I can't sleep at night. I look at that, and I got my colleagues calling me and say, "What? You know that I had to do the same thing?" And they say, "What are you doing? You're screwing up the fraternity." I'm saying, "Yeah, it's killing me now." But you know, this is one of the things we have to go through.
But with their shooting percentage, is that one of the reasons you went to the press? So they would get less shot attempts in the second half, pretty much?
Well, we went to the press solely to speed them up. We wanted to speed them up and really get after them. And you know, and I wanted our guys to open the game up and make it more of a transitional type thing. And I thought that's what occurred. I think if we did that for 40 minutes against them, we'd let the horses get going. But I think now, you know, they got lulled to sleep a little bit going against the zone, and then all of a sudden you can press them. It creates some havoc for them.
Can you talk about Norris in the last 5 minutes of this game? I mean, I know you had your moments with Norris this year, but in those last 5 minutes, I mean, that was a big time play.
Oh, he was playing his tail off. I mean, he was getting into areas where, you know, that was difficult for him to guard. And we knew, we brought everyone up high and we set a ball screen for him so he can get through that. And if they didn't pick him up, he could go all the way to the basket or he could shoot the shot. And we knew what we were looking for, but the thing that I give Norris credit for, he was also looking for the other guys at the same time. So that tells me he's starting to learn the game of basketball as a point guard.
And even though a game was lost today, can you sit down tonight, you know, with your eyes open, looking at the ceiling, and say, you know, yeah, we lost, but we gained something?
Oh, we gained.
What did you gain?
We gained a whole lot. We gained some guys that, see, our biggest thing is them believing in what we do. And I thought we gained that portion of it, that if we do what we do, we have a chance in every game. Because there's a lot of guys that never did this before. The second thing is, I think they start believing in each other. And that's a key factor for us, that they can trust and believe in each other. Because, you know, that percentage is what it is. I keep looking at it and it gives me a stomachache. But it's going to be there, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But I do feel that we've added another part of our game that we know we can play that can help us.
And
that was the press.
Again, there's a lot of emphasis on the press, but I'll go back to the zone. You get about 10, 12 minutes out of Joe that you probably don't get, and that's a plus.
Well, let me give you this. Let me give you this. There is not another team in the entire country that can rebound the zone the way that team can rebound the zone. I mean, that's what he teaches. He knows that they're not a very good shooting team. I mean, consistently from the outside, from the three-point range. So he lets them shoot the shots, but their goal is to get the offensive rebound. And that's why they will constantly be at 50%. I watched them play Portland, and I watched about 6 games. I watched them at Portland. Portland beat everybody down the stretch here lately. I don't know if you've been following Portland. They went up against them, and they scored 25 offensive rebounds against their zone. They just couldn't stop them. These are guys that are pogo sticks that are above the rim, man. And I give our kids credit because they were trying to fight them. And seeing what happens is, it's not the post guys, even though you may think it's the post guys. The post guys are trying to box those guys out. It's the other guys that are crashing from the backside, and the guards have to go down there and box them out, but they're just too little. I mean, they're 6'7", 6'8", that they have to box out, and it's a hard thing. And I thought as the game went on, and you're right about one thing, I thought as the game went on, they weren't going to the glass as much as they could but I got to give that credit to the press. The press kind of wore them down in the second half, and they stopped going to the glass.
He doesn't have a number. Basically, he doesn't have a number on his line, and maybe even eyes to see. But it seemed like you had Kamchik out there in that second half for a lot of really, really big defensive series. What was he giving you at the front end of that?
Oh, that's what he does. See, the system he comes out, they press, and he can do a very good job at that because he's mobile and active enough. That guy at the front of that press has to be active, and what you'll see in the future when we press, sometimes it'll be we'll put a big guy and 4 guards out there. Now DeAndre's at the front of the press, but you couldn't do that against them because they're just too big.
But Kamchik did a good job at that.
Oh, I thought he did a fabulous job.